Let me ask you something. Have you been consuming every piece of entrepreneur mindset content and building every success habit in the books, but still feeling stuck? I'm going to show you the one thing that's been silently, possibly holding you back. And it has nothing to do with morning routines or productivity hacks. I'm so glad you found this video because what I'm about to share with you today genuinely changed things for me, and I believe it can do the same for you. Now, let me ask you something else, and I want you to really think about this one. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with right now? Write them down. If you can even pause this video and write their names down. Because here's the thing. Those 5 people, they are shaping your future right now. Whether you're aware of it or not, the legendary personnel development coach Jim Rohn said it best. And it's one of the most quoted lines in entrepreneurship for a very, very good reason. Now, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, that's interesting, but what does it actually mean for me? And more importantly, what do I need to do about it? And that's exactly what we're going to be doing and looking at in this video. So now, why your relationships are literally your most powerful business asset. The psychology behind why some people in your circle might actually be holding you back and why it's not always obvious. We're going to look at how to find and build the kind of supportive, like-minded community that will champion you to succeed. And I'll be giving you real action steps throughout, pulled from some of the most powerful books and research out there. So let's dive in. Firstly, let's look at why your environment is your superpower. Here's something science actually backs up, and it's in the landmark research on social comparison theory. Psychologist Leon Festinger found that human beings are constantly and often unconsciously measuring themselves against the people around them. We look to others to understand what's normal, what's possible, and what we should be aiming for. Think about it for a second. If everyone around you is working a 9 to 5, complaining about their boss and spending weekends watching TV, that becomes your normal. Your brain starts to believe that's just how it is. But flip that around. What if your normal was rooms full of people building businesses, sharing ideas, celebrating small wins, and pushing each other further? Your whole definition of what's possible shifts. This is exactly what Napoleon Hill wrote about in his timeless classic Think and Grow Rich back in 1937, and it is just as relevant today. Hill introduced the concept of the mastermind group, a small dedicated circle of people who come together regularly with a shared goal of growth and mutual support. He called it the coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people who work towards a definite purpose in a spirit of harmony. He didn't just theorize about it. He studied hundreds of the most successful people of his time and found that virtually every single one of them had a mastermind group behind them. So let's look at action step 1. Grab your journal or your phone notes app and answer these 2 questions honestly. Does my current environment inspire me or drain me? Is the normal around me the normal I want for my life? There's no right or wrong answer, just honesty, because awareness is always the first step. Now, let's look at the compound effect of your circle. In the Compound Effect book by Darren Hardy, he makes a great point. He talks about how small daily choices, things that seem completely insignificant in the moment, can compound over time into massive results. And here's the kicker. He says the single biggest factor influencing those daily choices and habits are, drum roll, it's the people you surround yourself with. He writes about doing an audit of your relationships and getting really honest about whether each person in your life is pulling you up or anchoring you down. Not in a cold or heartless way, but in a truthful way. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to say out loud. Sometimes the people who love you the most are also the people who most likely will talk you out of your dreams. And it's not always because they're bad people. Sometimes it could be because your ambition can sometimes scare people who care about you. They want to protect you. They don't want to see you fail or get hurt. But their fear, their limiting beliefs can become your ceiling if you let them. Now, Tony Robbins, one of the world's most recognized life coaches, says the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. And he means all relationships. Personal, professional, and relationships you have with your own potential. Now, that does make you pause and think. Here's action step number 2. Do a relationship audit. Make 3 columns. You have your energizers, people who lift you, believe in you, push you forward. And then you have your next column, your drainers, people who consistently doubt you, criticize or discourage you. And then you have your neutrals column. This is for people who are simply indifferent to your growth. Now, you don't need to cut anyone off, but this exercise will show you clearly where you're investing your emotional energy and whether that investment is paying dividends. Now, let's look at the psychology of people who keep you small. This is important. Okay, now I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed nearly enough in entrepreneurship spaces. And I want you to listen carefully here, because this one has caught a lot of people off guard. You might already be in an entrepreneur circle. You might already be around other business owners, other people who talk about building things, making money, chasing goals. And here's what can happen. And it's sneaky. Some of these people might actually be keeping you at a certain level. Not by being openly negative, but in subtle psychological ways. There's a concept called crab mentality. And it comes from an observation about crabs in a bucket. If you put one crab in a bucket, it will climb out. But when you put multiple crabs in, and every time one crab tries to climb out to the top, the others pull it back down. Not out of malice, but instinctively. Human beings can behave in the same way. Psychologists refer to this more formally through the lens of social comparison theory. When someone in your peer group starts doing better than the group's established norm, it can trigger feelings of inadequacy, envy, or threat in others. And those feelings, consciously or not, can show up as subtle undermining, dismissiveness, or a constant nudge to be realistic. Dr. Carol Dweck, professor at Stanford University and author of the game-changing book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, found through decades of research that people with a fixed mindset genuinely believe that talent and success are finite. They believe if you win, somehow they lose, so your rise feels like a threat to them. This is sometimes also called as the tall poppy syndrome, a cultural tendency to cut down those who stand out or succeed above the group. It's well documented in research and it is real. And here's what it makes it tricky. You might not even realize it's happening. It can look like jokes about your ambitions that sting just a little too much, constant devil's advocates, conversations that always end in doubt, people who celebrate your struggles more than your wins, subtle one-upmanship every time you share good news, friends who always have a reason why your idea won't work, Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his landmark work Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, showed how deeply we are shaped by our social environment, often without conscious awareness. The people around us set the invisible rules of what's acceptable, expected, and possible. Les Brown, the legendary motivational speaker, puts it powerfully. Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality. And the late, great Jim Rohn added, associate with the people of quality if you care about quality. I absolutely love those two sayings. Now, let's look at our action step number 3. Think about the last 3 times you shared an exciting idea or a win with someone in your circle. How did they respond? Did they light up with you? Did they ask questions and want to know more? Or did they immediately poke holes, change the subject, or make you feel slightly foolish for being excited? Your emotional memory knows the answer. You have to pay attention to it. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Now, let's look at building your winning circle. This is my favorite part. It's where it gets really exciting. So now, we've talked about the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because this is the good part. Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, in their book, Who, Not How, make the case that the biggest breakthroughs in entrepreneurship rarely come from you figuring out how to do something. They come from finding the right who, the right person, mentor, partner, or community who has already walked the path you want to walk. This is a total mindset shift. Instead of asking, how do I build this? You start asking, who do I need to be around to make this happen? Yeah, light bulb moment. And that question is incredibly empowering, because it means your next level isn't about you figuring it all out alone. It's about finding your people. Here's how to actually build that circle. 1, you can find a mastermind group or entrepreneur communities. Napoleon Hill's mastermind principle is still one of the most powerful tools available to you. Today, masterminds exist everywhere, online and in person. Look for ones aligned with your niche, your stage of business, and your values. Some are free, some are paid, but the investment in the right community is always worth it. Number 2, attend events, workshops, and conferences. Robin Sharma in the 5 a.m. Club talks extensively about the importance of putting yourself in environments that raise your standards. When you physically walk into a room of driven, ambitious people, something shifts. You start thinking bigger just by proximity. Gary Vee, entrepreneur and content creator, says you need to surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. That's the bar. That's what you're looking for. Now, number 3, you can also find a mentor. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, credits his entire financial education and entrepreneurial success to finding the right mentor, his rich dad. He didn't have all the answers. He found someone who did, and he asked questions. Good mentors don't do the work for you. They help you see possibilities that you can't see yet. Number 4, use online communities wisely. LinkedIn groups, Facebook communities, Reddit communities, Discord servers, and Slack groups. There are more ways than ever to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs globally. The key is engagement. Just try and show up, add value, ask questions, and celebrate others. Now, number 5, become the kind of person worth connecting with. James Clear in Atomic Habits reminds us that every action we take is a vote for the kind of person we're becoming. To attract driven, generous, growth-focused people into your life, show up as those things yourself. Be generous with your knowledge, Celebrate other people's wins loudly. Be curious and be consistent. Now, action step number 4. This week, take one concrete step to expand your supportive circle. Join one online community for entrepreneurs in your niche. Attend one local or virtual business networking event. Reach out to one person you admire, a podcast guest, a LinkedIn connection, a local business owner, and introduce yourself genuinely. No agenda, just connection. One step, that's all, because as every builder knows, the compound effect starts with a single action. Now, let's link this to our goal. We can bring this full circle because ultimately all of this relationship building isn't just about feeling good, it's about achieving your goals. And this is where it gets really powerful. In his research on high achievement, Dr. David McClelland of Harvard University found that the people you habitually associate with determine up to 95% of your success or failure in life. 95%. That's the strategy. Think about it. Every big goal you have right now, whether it's your first 1,000 in revenue, quitting your 9 to 5, building a team, scaling the business bigger, or creating a business that gives you genuine freedom, none of those things happen in isolation. They happen when someone in your circle says, I did it, and so can you. They happen when a mentor sees the potential in you before you can see it in yourself. They happen when a community holds you accountable on the days you want to give up. And I know we've all probably been there. They happen when you're surrounded by people who make your goals feel not just possible, but inevitable. Oprah Winfrey said, surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. And Tony Robbins reminds us again, remember, proximity is power. Where you position yourself physically, energetically, socially, determines the trajectory of your business and your life. Now, action step number 5, your 30-day challenge. For the next 30 days, commit to these 3 things and let me know in the comments how it goes. Spend 30 minutes a week in a new entrepreneurial community, contributing, not just consuming. Read 1 chapter per week from any of the books mentioned in this video. They are all life-changing. Write down 1 person each week who you want to build a genuine relationship with, and take 1 step toward that connection. Small, consistent actions, that's the compound effect in motion, and that's how your circle expands. That's how your goals move from the whiteboard to real life. So here's what I want you to take away from today. Your relationships are not soft skills. They are not a nice to have. They are the foundation of your entrepreneurial success. Seek environments that raise your standards. Audit the people around you with honesty and compassion. Protect your energy and your belief in yourself, especially in those early days when your business is fragile and you're trying to figure it all out and your confidence is possibly still being built. Be the crab that climbs out of the bucket. Don't let anything hold you back. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a perfect plan or a perfect product, but you do need to be intentional about who you let into your world. Because the right people at the right time in the right environment, that is the shortcut nobody talks about enough. Now, go do your relationship audit. Let me know your results in the comments. Go find your mastermind. Go and introduce yourself to someone who inspires you. Your next level is waiting, and there are people out there already cheering for you. So let's go find them. If this video helped you, please give it a like. It means the world to me and helps more entrepreneurs to find this message. Drop a comment below telling me who is the 1 person who has had a positive impact on your entrepreneurial journey. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already subscribed, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, you've got this. And always design your profits first and your spend second. The books that are mentioned in the video are linked below.